What is up? Goblin Bob here, your source for mono red commander information. Today I'm here with 4 new cards that are going to be in the upcoming set, Duskmourn House of Horror. But first, here's one of the full art mountains from the set. At first glance, I thought it was a coffin, but it looks like a table with knives, and some people in the background, and what appears to be some kind of thing growing around all this happening. So it looks pretty cool. What do you think? Anyway, let's get started with our first card. We have Chainsaw. For 1 and a red, we have an artifact equipment. When Chainsaw enters, it deals 3 damage to up to 1 target creature. Whenever 1 or more creatures die, put a rev counter on Chainsaw. Equipped creature gets +X+O, where X is the number of rev counters on Chainsaw, and it's equipped 3. So as someone who's a fan of horror movies, I definitely like this card. It's got cool flavor to it. I just imagine my creature chopping a bunch of heads off, getting those rev counters growing stronger. You definitely hope to get at least one with the bolt effect at the beginning of playing it, or else you're not going to get anything from it until you kill a creature. Or until a creature dies, rather. Which means that even if someone else kills a creature, just when one dies, you put a rev counter on it. So that is actually pretty good. Now we just need to give it trample, and we'll be taking chainsaws straight to the players' faces. For the second card on our list, we have Cursed Recording. For 2 and 2 red, we have an artifact. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a time counter on Cursed Recording. Then, if there are 7 or more time counters on it, remove those counters and it deals 20 damage to you. And tap, when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I feel like this card is really good. Since red has plenty of ways to destroy artifacts, you really don't have to worry about it getting to 7 time counters if you want to remove your own artifact. But also, you're going to be able to cast at least 6 instants or sorceries and copy them. If you have a way to untap this artifact, you can do 2 in 1 turn. I can see this doing some big plays, copying some big spells. And at the very worst, you're going to take 20 damage and reset this thing. So who cares if you take 20 damage if you're just owning the board, casting big instants and sorceries, and copying them every turn. Number 3 on our list is Fear of Missing Out. For 1 and a red, we have an enchantment creature, Nightmare. 2/3, with when Fear of Missing Out enters, discard a card, then draw a card. And it has Delirium. Whenever Fear of Missing Out attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. So we have a rummaging effect, an additional combat effect, which is definitely the better effect. It's not the best additional combat phase effect I've seen, but it can work if you have a really big creature or something that you're trying to get through more than once. I think it would go really well with certain dragons, and I'm sure there's ways to make this thing do some crazy stuff. The downside I see is the 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. That's going to be kind of hard to get to, so we'll see how this thing does. And for number 4, last but not least, definitely not least, we have the Screaming Nemesis. For 2 and a red, we have a creature spirit, 3/3, with haste, and whenever Screaming Nemesis is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. And the flavor text says, she sees the faces of those who wronged her and everyone she encounters. This card just seems really good, especially if you have ways to deal big amounts of damage while giving it indestructible, especially because it deals damage to any target. And if a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. This is going to shut down life gain decks, even if it has to leave the battlefield after doing the damage. And there's nothing they can do once it's been done to them to get their life gain back. I like that it has haste, so you can press the attack, and if it gets blocked, then someone's not gaining life for the rest of the game. So I think you'll be able to get the 3 damage through pretty easy, or use it to politic with someone on getting rid of another player's life gain. This card's definitely going in some of my decks, and I can't wait to use it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, and drop a comment on the video, and I'll see you next time.